All right, welcome in. It's time for Total Bases. Adam Trigger here, Bryan Leonard, two-man show today. Bryan, I'm all fired up this morning. It's not just the caffeine. It's the fact that the D-backs walked it off late for me last night. I went 2-0 in Major League Baseball. We hit the three-team parlay. Show parlay is back up 5 units on the season. And I gotta say, like, this is the first day probably in about 3 weeks where I've really been excited about the Major League Baseball slate. I think I commented on it yesterday. I feel like the last month or so maybe the last 3 weeks has been very, very difficult to handicap. I definitely lost units in that stretch. So getting the 2-0, we're hitting the home stretch. I feel like I found some of the teams I want to target going forward. I feel great this morning. How about you, Bryan Leonard?
Yeah, we hit our big play. We hit a 5% a couple days ago. We hit a big play yesterday. Went 2-1. I did give a small 1.5 unit on Colorado, and I had written that off as the loser of the day. And then I look, and they only lost by a run. So maybe I wasn't so far off in the game as what I thought. But yeah, other than that, just about everything we talked about on the show, I think, at least from my memory, from my perspective, I thought we did pretty well. So I like it when we not only hit our best plays, but the games that we talk about on the show, that we seem to be on the right side of that. So I will take many of those days. And that way, if you have one of those and you get a bad luck loser, like we almost had on Cleveland yesterday, we can deal with it a little bit better, knowing that overall we were on the right side of the games that we discussed.
Did you happen to catch the final out of the Rockies game? If you didn't, you probably don't want to relive it right now, but I will. I got to bring it up since I brought it up. Hunter Goodman, about 115 miles an hour off the bat, directly at the third baseman's head, a foot higher, and it's game over. Rockies are celebrating, walking it off. So Marlins very, very, very fortunate to survive that sort of late inning collapse. I couldn't even believe they were still playing. I thought they were going to call it when it was 6-0, and they almost walked it off. I'll stay out west. I'm going to start, as you see, I showed up with my hat this morning, partially because I was running late, didn't have time to do the hair, which is getting long and needs to get cut. But also I said, you know what? I've been showing up in the minor league hats. I got to give some love to one of the MLB teams, MLB parks that I've been to, and the Arizona Diamondbacks, who cashed for me last night. And Bryan Leonard, I might have to go right back to them today because this is one of the teams right now. I feel like when you look at just energy, the way they're showing up day in and day out relative to some of the bad baseball we've seen the past few weeks, I'm kind of in on this team right now. They host the Giants. It's Verlander, Pfaadt, two guys we haven't loved really. But man, the Diamondbacks in the desert, they're a tough out. Do you like them this afternoon?
Before we get to the game, it says 25 on the side. Is that on your hat?
Oh, this was the I think this was last year or 2 years ago when they had the 25th anniversary or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I collect a lot of those for my Cleveland teams, 100 years in the American League. I kind of whatever all that is. But yeah, Arizona is the closest stadium to my house in Las Vegas. So we've gone there many times, and we've been treated very well there. We actually had a gambling trip to Laughlin, Nevada one time, and a bunch of, Marco and myself and Chris Sanook and Ralph Michaels all went, and we got backstage. We got to, be on the field. It was a lot of fun. They treat us pretty well, especially if you're losing money in Laughlin. Okay, let's get to today's game. We have got Arizona in this game. Where did they put it? Okay, there we go. That game 9:05. Verlander and Pfaadt. It's basically a pick 'em right now with a total of 9, slightly to the under. I trust Verlander a little bit more in this than Pfaadt. Verlander's pitched a lot better, and he's a veteran. He's put in a lot of innings. He's got 134 innings this year, 90 last year because of injuries, 162 the year before. He has not been great, but he's got his ERA under 4, 3.94 with a 4.27 expected, 1.37 whip, which is not him, but the last 2 years he's been in that same basic area. He does give up fly balls, which is a concern in this ballpark. He's only in the 14th percentile for ground ball rate. Hard hit rate's been pretty good, 75th percentile. We know all about Verlander. Even at his age of 42, his fastball is still at 94 miles an hour, which is only 1 mile an hour worse than a normal right-hander. Brandon Pfaadt, guy that he waiting for and just still hasn't put it together. 5.31 ERA, 5.75 expected, 1.40 whip, and that's been a major problem in his 3 seasons. He's got a 1.33 whip. And he came into the league with a devastating arsenal where he was supposed to have been a big strikeout guy. Well, last year he struck out over 1 an inning, which is a little bit better than league average. But this year he's only got 131 strikeouts and 157 and 2/3 innings. His expected batting average, 5th percentile, second percentile, expected ERA 5th, barrel rate 8th, hard hit 12th. So I am concerned anytime he's on the mound. He does throw 6 pitches overall, and his 4-seamer and sinker at 24%. I like the way he uses a lot of pitches. Problem is they have not been good pitches this year. When you take a look at the bullpens here, San Francisco has Peguero's pitched 2 of the last 3 days. Casey's pitched the last 2 days. And they got a couple guys they called up. Tristan Beck started. He went 42 pitches after going 28 on Saturday. So I think that's his role right now, is give him a couple extra innings. And Trevor McDonald they brought up from AAA last night, and he went 34 pitches. I'll send him back down and bring somebody up, I'm sure, in that regard. But if you take a look at the hitting situations, San Francisco still they were very good for a long time in hitting. Now they're at 96 the last 2 weeks in that regard. And Arizona is a team that seems to be hitting better. They're at 111 right now. So first thing I think of is the over, and but we'll see how it goes. It's tough to play. It's tough to play over 9 in a game with playoff positioning here. So they're going to be treated like a playoff game, but still, I'm not a big fan of either one of these guys, especially Pfaadt. I think he can get hit here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I got to tell a quick story. My favorite team in any sport, any season, was the 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks. Will never come close. That is I don't know if I've ever disclosed this on the show. I'm not really a fan. At this point, I don't really have. I'm a fan of Siena College basketball because I went there. That's different. But I'm not really a fan of like professional teams. But that was my favorite team ever. 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks. They won the World Series. If you're into last night before the game, and this is up on Arizona social media, they had Bob Melvin and Bob Brentley and Bob Melvin sit in the dugout and watch the 9th inning of that game on the Jumbotron. Very cool. Go to Arizona Diamondbacks YouTube. It's on there. It's only 4 minutes long. I was in 10th grade. It was obviously right after 9/11. I grew up in New York. I think I had my history teacher who was probably in his 20s at the time. I wore a Diamondbacks hat to class after they won game 2 of the World Series. He was like, dude, you're basically a terrorist for rooting against the Yankees. Ballsy thing to say right after 9/11, but it was all in good fun. Probably couldn't get away with that today. But just the back and forth, and then Arizona winning that series on the walk-off. Again, go watch Melvin and Brentley sort of rewatch it. It's awesome. Love that team. Not sure I love this team as much, but man, I am in on this Diamondbacks team right now. This is going to be my parlay leg. And you know what? I'm in such a good mood today, Bryan Leonard. This is a 4% play for me. I'm basically running it back from last night, and I'm just going to give it out on the show. That's because I'm probably going to have more than one play today. But let me break down why I love the Diamondbacks in this spot and why I think they're a great bet going forward. So right now, I think they're going to win games in spite of their pitching. This was part of my write-up yesterday. I knew Eduardo Rodriguez might get hit a little bit, and I was willing to just deal with it because I felt like their lineup was in a good chance to produce. And what happened? They went out 13 hits, had the leadoff man on in 7 of 9 innings. And actually, they should have won by more. because I'm pretty sure they stranded the leadoff runner 5 or 6 times in the game, still put up 6 runs, still 13 hits. Kettle Marte's really been struggling of late. If you sort of like, he has had a poor second half. I mean, this is a guy that had to deal with someone like talking shit about his dead mother, had his house broken into. He's had a tough go in a personal life this season. And the last couple of weeks, like even Torey Lovello yesterday, before the game came out, was like, he's just off, hasn't really found his swing, made some like sort of comments like, yeah, he's just not all there right now. What does he do? Goes out and gets 2 huge hits for them last night, double and a single, big RBI to tie the game. Absolutely smoked the ball like 3 times. I think he's like going to go off. So if you're a prop person, if you're into props, look at Kettle Marte, maybe taking Verlander deep today, because that's the basis of my handicap here. I think Verlander's going to get crushed at some point. I was on him in his last start, and I feel like I've bet him a couple of times on this run. I think I've milked him for all I can right now. Like when you look at that profile, you throw him in this ballpark, knowing that he's going to give up some fly ball. And then you throw like Kettle Marte, maybe he's, he hit the ball really, really hard 3 times yesterday. Like, I just feel like someone's hitting the ball out of the ballpark against Verlander. Brandon Pfaadt, I don't really care for him. We've talked about him on this show a ton. He's not he's not a guy I really want to back. But can he be good enough just to match Verlander and keep them in the game? I think so. He actually tends to pitch better at this ballpark. I'm not quite sure how, but he does. For Pfaadt, he still has an okay fastball. He throws strikes. So you're going to, if you're talking about like this Giants lineup, I think they lost their juice a little bit, Brian. This was a team that last week, all the energy, like they had all the energy. The last 3 days, they've had no energy whatsoever. And even in that game last night, they go up 4-0. They did nothing for the last like 6-7 innings of that game. Terrible at bats. Couldn't get anything going offensively. Meanwhile, Arizona just continued to chip away. I'm all in on the Diamondbacks right now. And if you're talking about them wanting to have any chance at making the playoffs, this home game against the Giants, again, is pretty much a must win, because look at their schedule coming up. It's Phillies, it's Dodgers, it's Padres. I feel like they have to have this one. I think Lovello is going to empty the clip if he gets to the bullpen today. There's just no one off limits. He threw Southlank out there last night with a bad shoulder. It's just like, I really feel like the whole team's like, whatever you need, we want to get there. Love the energy. Jordan Lawler running around the field with a double bubble bucket on his hat after getting that hit. He's had a terrible run at the big league level. So for him to hit a ball that goes 30 feet and turns into a walk-off RBI single, massive. Love the energy. Diamondbacks -110, 4% play, and will always also be my a client play for me, but also my parlay late. So what are we looking at? I think I locked it in for clients at like -108, but I'm not sure.
I see 108 out there. I will talk. Marte has an ankle problem, and that's the deal, because he got to second base yesterday, and even the announcer said, "I'm surprised he made it so easily because of his problem with his ankle." Yeah. And so he could be a guy. I mean, he's still got speed, but he could be a guy that may clog up the bases a little bit. But you mentioned favorite teams, and it's for myself. I like to travel. I want to see every ball. I want to go to every ball club and see their stadiums. And I usually go with my wife. And so it's a lot of it is how we are treated by the opposing fans. If Cleveland's playing, I will wear a Cleveland hat. And I was really impressed by the people in San Francisco. I thought San Francisco was very nice people. St. Louis, Kansas City. Not the same deal when I was in Boston for the Red Sox. Yeah. But I think a lot of the fandom comes out of that, because you've got a lot of Yankees haters, you got a lot of Red Sox haters, you got a lot of Dodgers haters, and a lot of it is because it's tough to go to those ballparks and enjoy yourself as a family. I understand fandom, I understand the whole soccer situation, and a lot of teams are like that, but it does put a bad taste in a lot of the fans that may be coming there just to see your stadium and may not even have anything to do with your ball club, but want to see the stadium and enjoy it. Yes, it's only baseball, man. It's don't go crazy about it.
All right, we'll move on. I just That one had to go longer, but hey, you got a free 4%er out of it. Colin said something about the total. Hard to talk you off the over if you're going to do a total in that game. It's almost those two pitchers with the way that the Diamondbacks are hitting almost has to be an over. AOD says, I need that wager talk hoodie. We might be able to do something about that. DM me on Twitter. I'll see what I can do. We were just talking about, we might have some merch laying around. I'll see what I can do. Hit me with a Twitter DM. Wolf Eyes Gaming said, I tried to do Korean baseball for once, picked 3 games and Hard Rock Bets voided 2 of the games. That's because it's raining big time in Korea right now. I think almost every game got rained out this morning, except for maybe 1 or 2 of them. And yeah, let's move it along. A lot of games to get to today. Let's go to Bryan. You know what? I know this isn't like a game that has playoff implications, but you mentioned you kind of like the Rockies yesterday. I kind of like the Rockies yesterday as well. And I looked at today's matchup. I kind of think that they have a shot to win today. So I know it's not the playoff implication game, but there might be a good betting opportunity here. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about McCade Brown, who's going to get the start for the Rockies tonight. And he's a guy that got called up directly from he got called up directly from Double-A. Thought he had great stuff. My cousin has seen him play as part of the Hartford Yard Goats for on a couple of occasions. And I kind of started to look into his Double-A numbers. They were very good. Was surprised that, well, I'm not surprised with anything the Rockies do to their young pitchers at this point. Just assume they're going to do something to hinder their progress. But they brought him up. I thought he's thrown it pretty well at times. Now he gets the Marlins. I think that the Rockies were unlucky to not come back and get over the hump and win that game. Do you have any desire in going back to them today? Plus money, and you could get the plus 1.5, only minus 115. I don't know. What do you think about the Rockies in this spot?
I don't like the Rockies in this spot.
I know you're a Weathers guy, though, so I get that.
Yeah. I looked at this line, and this is what I was planning to use on my part of the parlay, and I guess we're going to go head to head in that one.
I'm not on the Rockies yet by any means. So just don't let me talk you off there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to set this down right now as my parlay leg. Get it over quick. They're about a 155 favorite on the road here. The reason why I like them is Weathers is going for Miami. He's a lefty. Love Weathers going against Brown. Total is about 10.5 on this game. Look at Brown, and he's 25 years old, 6'6", so he's got a great extension, 95th percentile. But other than his hard hit rate's not been bad, but it is a small sample size. He's pitched 4 games. He's 0-4 with a 9.88 ERA, expected 7.02, whip of 2.12. So his results have been horrendous. I don't think he's that bad. He does throw 4 pitches. He uses his sinker, slider, curve, and change. I like that repertoire, and especially for the Rockies, is somebody they don't have. The problem is these are all breaking pitches, and as we know in Colorado, the balls don't break as much, and that is a concern when he's pitching at home. On the road, I think he may be a guy we find some value in. But I do not like his numbers that he's gotten so far. It's a small sample size, but he's not pitched well. Ryan Weathers is a guy that, he's been great lately the last couple of years. Last year in 86 innings, he had a 3.63 ERA, 1.18 whip. This year in 29 innings, 2.73 ERA, 3.04 expected, 1.04 whip. He does not have the extension. That's his worst part. His chase rate and his extension are poor, but his fastball velocity is in the 88th percentile. He throws 6 pitches. Basically, he's a four-seam change and sweeper pitcher, but his four-seam, he throws the most, which is probably good here in Colorado because the breaking pitches don't break. And it's 97.1 miles an hour, which is 4 miles an hour faster than a normal lefty. His fastball velocity, 88th percentile. You see a lot. It's a small sample size because it's only 29 innings on the season, but it's a lot of red when you take a look at his StatCast page. And when I take a look at the bullpens here, the Marlins come in and they're in pretty good shape in their bullpen. They used 3 guys yesterday. Peterson, a long reliever for 29 pitches. Hernandez had to go 21 to get the save. Phillips 16, but everybody else is not pitched in 3 days. I think that's a big advantage here. And Colorado, we've talked about them in the past about their starting pitchers been so bad that they got to use the bullpen more than a normal team. Well, their bullpen's not bad off right now. They were off on Monday. Yesterday, Vodnik 10 pitches, Hill 2, Molina long reliever for 31. So both bullpens are in pretty good shape here. So I don't want to go with the over. In fact, if I played it, I may play the under, but I want to go with the Miami side, which is in that 155 range, or I wouldn't be opposed to taking the team total for Colorado under, and it's sitting at 4.5, basically flat. So they'd have to score 5 runs to beat you here. They did get 5 yesterday, but it all came in 1 inning. They have not been hitting well at all lately anyway. Let me take a quick look at Colorado's scoring over the last few days. Looking at the schedule, they've scored 5 yesterday, 6 the day before, 3, 4, 0, 0, 2, 1, 1. That's not something I expect they're going to score 5 runs here. And granted, all those games are on the road. Now they're playing at home, but still, yesterday we saw them score 5. I don't think they get there today. So either Miami in the game, or I would not have any problem with Colorado team total under. And the Miami side will be my part of the parlay. They're at 155 right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, the Rockies had no business scoring 5 runs in that game yesterday. There was no energy in the ball. I think everyone left the ballpark, to be honest. There was barely anyone there because there was a rain delay. I was shocked. I was like, oh, these two teams, rain and this is gonna be called 6-0. All of a sudden, I looked down, Mickey Moniak's hitting a 3-run homer, and then they've got something going in the 9th that was just like, that honestly really encompasses, I feel like, what a Marlins Rockies game 3rd week of September right now is going to look like. So let me go back to McCade Brown, because I actually think you might be onto something with the under. Yesterday's game had no business getting to 11 runs. I don't think today's is going to get to 11 runs. I think the one thing that personally would keep me off the Rockies on the +1.5 is Weathers. I like him too. You've made a great case for him pretty much all season. He's not a guy that I necessarily want to go against, but I do think McCade Brown might be the best young arm in their organization. Now, did they do him any favors calling him up right from Double-A? No. Why do I say that? Well, Albuquerque is the way a lot of these guys get acclimated to altitude, right? So it's like the nice part about having Triple-A in Albuquerque is it's roughly the same altitude as Coors Field. So you get guys that sort of get to figure out, okay, this is what altitude feels like. And then when you get called up from Albuquerque, you don't, it's not like, oh, it's my first time at Coors Field, I've never felt this way before. It's, okay, this is the same as playing in Albuquerque. When you go directly from Double-A, Hartford, Connecticut to Coors Field, that's a little bit of a, that's a little bit of a shock to the system. Now, this will be his 3rd go at Coors. The first 2 weren't great. So, that's, I guess, would be the anti McCade Brown. The good, the pro McCade Brown stuff is the fact that he's looked better in the minors than any of these other guys. So, like, when I've watched what I've seen from him so far, which hasn't been much, has been more impressive than like Palmquist a little bit and Dollander. I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like when they were called up, it was going to be somewhat bad news, and it kind of was. Whereas he's been really, really impressive at Double-A. And I understand why they were so why they were so eager to be like, let's just put this kid out in the big leagues and see what he can do. Now, last time out at San Diego, I thought he was pretty good. I know it was like the line isn't overly, doesn't jump off the page. He pitched into the 5th inning in that game, only gave up 2 runs. I want to say that was a 2-0 final. It was a pitcher's duel, 2-0. The Padres ended up winning that game. I thought he threw it well. I still think he's got one really good outing in him. He's probably going to get 2 more starts this game and whoever he plays next. So he's someone I want to play on. I think if I had to bet the side, I'd probably personally be taking the +1.5 with the Rockies. But maybe the under is the better way to go because there was no energy in that game until the very last inning last night. I think you could get another sort of deflated type game, especially if both pitchers are cruising under 10.5. You always get these inflated totals at Coors Field. So maybe a full game under 10.5. I can't really I don't know if I have enough conviction to go head to head with you. I know you like the Marlins and I like Weathers as well. So I'll leave it with the total under 10.5. And Brian's going to put the Marlins on the side in the parlay. So two teamers locked in. Who knows? Maybe we'll agree on something and make it a 3-teamer before the end of the show.
Let me just point out from the wind direction right now, the first hour of the game, wind's blowing in from right to left, 12 miles an hour, and in hour 2, 11 miles an hour straight in. Hour 3, supposedly slightly out to left at 4. It's really early, so it's hard to take any of that with, take it all with a grain of salt. But the wind is, let's just say the wind's not blowing out in Colorado today, which when the weather gets pretty hot there, anything can fly. But now that we're getting farther into the season here and it's September, you've got to worry about more of the bad weather coming to Colorado. And luckily, I don't have to worry about that being in Las Vegas right now.
Rick Reynolds says, I'm going to miss the show so much after October. I think you guys nailed every game you analyzed yesterday. A couple things. So we very much appreciate that. The days that we come on here and talk about things and they all win is always our favorite days. Even better when we win our own bets, which I did yesterday at least, and I think Bryan did as well. And if you are into college basketball, I'm bringing the same show back, same format, different panel, although maybe we'll get Bryan Leonard to hop in every once in a while. I have no idea if I'm allowed to announce this yet or not, but I'm going to anyway because I don't see why not. I mean that we're going to do this show. Believe it will be myself, Brian Power, and Rob Vino doing this same show, but for college hoops. So if you don't like college basketball, we'll see you in March or April. Now it's March. Yeah, we start the season in March. But if you do like college hoop, we'll be here all winter. So we're not going anywhere. And we're gonna keep this exact same format. It is going to be a much bigger undertaking with 360 teams, but we're prepared to do that. So we're
worked with Rob Vino for about 25 years out here in Vegas before he moved to Pennsylvania, and I've always loved listening to Mark or Rob Vino. I've always loved listening to you because you both explain things so well. When you're handicapping, it's like many times I will sit back and I agree when you bring something up that I forgot about. You've read the same things that I have. You've put in those same work that I have. I just can't remember everything a lot of times. And when I listen to Rob, he breaks down games great. So and I've only done a few segments with Brian Power over the years. He's very good also. So I'm excited to see that show from you.
Now that Koken's no longer with us, I think Rob's got the biggest brain at Wager Talk. I feel like he's got more in that head than anyone else.
He thinks outside the box a little bit, and I've always loved that. Dave Malinsky was in our industry, and unfortunately he passed. But Dave was like that. I always learn something when I sit next to Dave. Always learn when I sit next to Koken and talk about things. I just love having guys on the panels that I really learn from myself, and I appreciate it.
All right, Colin, we'll get back to the games. We've got some day baseball on the south side. Orioles, White Sox. These haven't been able to find my way into this series yet, Bryan, because kind of two teams I'm not dying to go against. White Sox were a team that I was sort of on out of the gate in the second half. Felt like they maybe ran out of steam a little bit, but they still have a lot of young guys fighting for spots. I love the way Will Venable has managed that team. Very much like a developmental style team. And then the Orioles have really been very game in every game they've played for the most part since they called up the younger guys. Doesn't mean they win every day, but they have been a tough out. I would say both these teams have been tough outs. Orioles, they did get swept by the Blue Jays. We'll give them a pass there. They bounced back, win the first 2 games of this series. The White Sox were sort of red hot at the beginning of this month. Then they ran into your Cleveland Guardians, who are the hottest team in the league right now. And now they've lost 5 straight since. So I'll go to you. Do you think the White Sox break their losing streak today?
I'm glad we're talking about this game. Obviously, it's one of the day games. The Cubs and Pittsburgh start at 9:35. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of day games today, and they are starting a little bit earlier. Wells and Perez. Both these guys have. Neither one has got a great reputation, but they both pitch extremely well this year. Both lefties. Wells is about maybe about a 118 favorite right now. Total 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. Tyler Wells, keep in mind, this guy hasn't really pitched a lot of innings since 2023. He had 118 innings, 3.64 ERA, 0.99 whip. He was very good at that point. Last year, only threw 15 innings. This year, he's at 11, but because of injuries. But he's been very good this year. 2.31 ERA, 2.30 expected, 0.6 whip. Obviously, that's not going to continue, but he's a guy that doesn't have a high whip in his career. 1.03, throws 5 pitches, is 4-seamer 35% of the time, only 92.9 miles per hour. So he doesn't have a lot of velocity on that. He's only in the 27th percentile in velocity, but his walk rate's been great, chase rate's been great, and he's pitching very well right now. And he has that abilities when he's healthy. Martin Perez comes in with a 1-5 record, and you go, yeah, that's Martin Perez. But think about Martin Perez in his 14-year career. He's 91 and 92. Now he does have a 4.41 ERA, 1.43 WHIP is really the concern. But this year, 3.27 ERA, 5.22 expected. So he's pitching with a lot of good luck. 1.05 WHIP, which is something we're not used to seeing. But as much as his numbers say 3.27 ERA, he's doing pretty well. Well, he's still the same old numbers if you look at his StatCast page. Average exit velocity is 71st percentile. That's what's good. Everything else is poor. He's in barrel rate, 1st percentile. Fastball velocity, 3rd. Expected ERA, 11th. He's going to get lit up eventually. And this Baltimore team does have some young bats that I like here in this game. I like Wells much better as a pitcher than Perez. Getting a couple of lefties. I prefer the lefties over the righties, especially for the younger teams. They seem is a pretty good idea. Most of the younger teams don't hit lefties as well as righties. So, and these are two very young teams. So, someone like Baltimore in this game, I would like to play the under, but I'm not sure I trust Perez enough. So I'll probably be sitting this one out.
Yeah, my first sort of gut when I saw this matchup was, that's going to be a good under bet. And I feel like the books kind of did their job here, making it 8 flat. You might be able to get a juiced under 8.5, but I don't really trust the bullpens enough to want to get involved with laying juice on a under 8.5. Just too many ways to get to 4-4 or have someone melt down in the later stages of this game. So I just feel like the books price that appropriately. I still think I can make a case for the under. I just don't think you've got enough wiggle room there at under 8. Reason I would make a case for the under, and maybe you could find something to do with this, is I think you got 2 pitchers where it feels like May to them because they, Tyler Wells. So this is the nice thing that the Orioles did for Wells and for Kyle Bradish. The Orioles knew they've known they've been out of it for a long time. They got off to such a bad start that the season has been over since June. And so they really let Bradish and Wells have almost like a full spring training experience in terms of their rehab, where it was very drawn out, built their arms back up. There was absolutely no rush to get them back to the big league level. And now they roll in late August when everyone's exhausted, everyone's the innings are piling up. Both of them. I mean, Wells looks like as fresh as can be. Look, it's only been 2 starts, but you even said it, Bryan, 0.60 whip. He's thrown the ball great. Bradish has thrown the ball great. I think the big reason, one of the reasons both of them continue to throw it well, it's like the season's just starting for them. It's May 15th for them right now. Whereas a lot of these other guys, you're starting to get into the 110, 120, 130, 140 innings. That's tough. It's a lot of innings. And you start to see a decline in for some guys when the innings start to build up. These two guys are they're letting it rip right now because they're it's a throwaway season for them. So a guy like Wells is just going out there. He's letting it rip. He knows he's only got another 2 weeks and he's going to shut it down. I think he's pitching well. I think he'd probably pitch fine regardless, but I do think that that's helping him look the way he's looked through the 2 starts since coming back. Now, Martin Perez a little bit different. He started the year, had to shut it down, missed a considerable amount of time in his comeback. But again, the White Sox were in no position to have to rush him back. And since he's been back, I think he's thrown it well. He's a veteran. He's going to go out there. And that's one thing about Martin Perez. I think no matter what team he's been on, this guy always goes out and gives you a professional effort, gives you like a good outing, always prepared. I feel like he's one of those guys that's done more with less in his career from what he's got the talent that he has, but he's always seemed to maximize it. So yeah, I have no issues with an under 8. And what I will say about the Orioles, as much as I like this young group, they're still young. The lineup has looked bad at times. Like this particular lineup, since like Jackson, like some of the younger guys have come up, they've had their moments in like a game like last night where they score 8 runs, 13 hits, win a game 8-7. But then they've also had games where they've just straight up gone cold and haven't done much of anything. So if you get that today from the Orioles, I don't think there's any way that this gets to more than 9 runs. I think I'm with you though. If you absolutely pin me down for a side play here, I think it would just have to be Wells and the Orioles because I love the way he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, if you take, I mentioned this yesterday with Detroit with the lefty-righty thing, and sure enough, Carpenter comes in, lefty against righty in the last inning and hits the home run to tie it with 2 outs in the 9th. But because there is a lefty, we're probably going to get Mountcastle and O'Neill as opposed to Beavers and maybe Carlson, or we'll see how it goes. But I trust the veterans a little bit better in that regard. And O'Neill is hitting a lot of barrels right now since he's come back from the IL. And plus, Jordan Westberg back yesterday not only comes back his first game off the IL, he bats cleanup and he DHs. So they got a nice bat back in the lineup here. And I do like the way some of these younger kids are starting to play. Kobe Mayo, their number 2 organizational player, last 2 weeks or last 7 days, the 68th best hitter in Major League Baseball, according to Roster Resource. And Beavers is 53rd. Henderson finally is starting to come out of it, 75. Holiday, 87. So some of their younger guys are starting to get a little warmed up here. And I've been looking to place bets on Baltimore, and I've done it a lot in the second half of the season, and we've had a lot of success in that. So, yeah, a lean Baltimore here, but probably not enough to get to it.
All right, let's go with Memphis Money. He says Boston rolls again today. This is, I believe, are we still, is this another day game right here? I know there's a lot of day baseball today, and I know that the folks like to ask about the day game. So yeah, this is, oh no, I'm sorry. This is one of the first ones off the board on the night slate. It's all right. We're still going to talk about it. A's Red Sox. Memphis Money says the Red Sox roll again today. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, they didn't roll yesterday. They rolled over. They lose that game 2-1 to the White Sox, or excuse me,
they did lose. Yes. So the Red Sox lost. Yes, they rolled, I think, on Sunday Night Baseball or Sunday night.
They beat the
Yankees, but yes.
Yeah. That was a big important win for them, and they turn around and play a lesser team in Sacramento on the road, and they only score 1 run. I'm concerned about this Boston team. I got Barnett's going against Giolito here. Giolito's about a 155 favorite. Yeah, 155, I'd say. Total of 9. Barnett's going for Mason Barnett going for the A's. Got 3 games started, only gone 12 innings. His whip's been real high, 1.89. Got a 8.53 ERA, 3.42 expected though. So his numbers are a lot better than what he has shown. Throws 4 pitches, just 4-seamer 52% of the time. but it's a little bit less than league average for a right-hander. That's probably not good when you're 24 years old and you're not even a league average from a right-hander. So I have some doubts about Barnett, but his hard hit rate so far has been pretty good. Average X velocity has been pretty good. So maybe he's got something. Maybe he's got some a little bit deception that can work for him today or tonight. Lucas Giolito still pitching. I believe he got to one of his spots that he needed to get so many innings or whatever to get bonuses and all these guarantees and stuff. And if Boston wasn't in the playoffs or in the playoff run, I think they probably would have benched Giolito so they wouldn't have to pay him that money. I know a lot of teams would have. Cleveland would have.
The Pirates certainly would have.
Pirates would have. Miami would have. Yeah. But he comes in. He's got that nice 10-4 record, 3.31 ERA, but his expected is 5.02. 136 innings, only 113 strikeouts. His extension is very good at 72%, but everything else is in the blue, which means not good. He only throws 4 pitches. In fact, basically 3 pitches, 4-seamer, slider, and change 96% of the time. And his 4-seamer that he throws the most, 48%, is only 93.3%. So we've got a couple guys here that I think can get hit. And so that would be the first thing I would look at, is possibly playing this game over. It's sitting at 9. Boston's a very good hitting ballpark. And, of course, we've seen some of these athletic bats. They got some good young talent on that team. Slight lean to the over here. I can't lay this number with Boston. I just don't trust this Boston offense right now. And this Barnett's, he's got some stuff. He could come out and give him a good game, but the way Boston's playing, just because they need to win doesn't mean they're going to win. And so I can't get behind them here, but I somewhat like the over slightly.
Yeah. So I'm with you on the being out on the Red Sox, and until Roman Anthony comes back, I'm out on this team. I talked about this right around the time he got hurt. He is, I truly believe he was the, I know that the run started like a couple days before he got called up, but I believe when he got called up, Devers was still there. So like the whole thing, like calling up Roman Anthony, they moved Devers. I didn't mind that because it was going to basically open up the spot for him to play every day. Remember, at the time, they still had Marcelo Mayer. Like that was like the lineup I wanted to get behind. And then even though Mayer got hurt, Roman Anthony is just, I think he's going to be sort of like the next Bryce Harper, if you will, like that type of guy for the next decade. So to lose him at this time of the year, I just don't think has been sort of priced into the number enough. Like I truly believe he is that important to this Red Sox team, specifically their offense. Now, does it mean they're not going to get runs today? No, because I'm not super high on Barnett. This is someone that the A's were very high on him coming into the year. He was awful at AAA to start the year. He did make a little bit of an adjustment, started to throw the ball better, maybe right out of the All-Star break. But this is not a guy that I've been impressed with at all this season. Kind of, I think they called him up because why not? A's are out of it. They probably just want to, maybe want to see if like the big league pitching coaches can help him or do anything with him. I mean, he is a pretty high draft pick. I know that the A's had high hopes for him. He was one of the better minor leaguers at AA last year for them. He's shown me very little at AAA, and he really has shown me nothing yet in the big leagues. I mean, it hasn't been great yet for him in the bigs either. So I don't know that I love him going into Fenway and just dealing. So I think even though I'm not high on the Red Sox offense at all, 9 flat, reduced juice on the over seems like the play because we know the A's can hit. We know they're going to swing at a lot. If Giolito's in the zone, which he usually is, the A's can make some contact and drive in some runs. And even with Anthony out of the lineup, which has made me downgrade the Red Sox considerably, they're still going to probably find their way to some runs here because I'm just not high on Barnett. So I'll give you the over 9. Not something I'm going to play for clients, but wouldn't be surprised if the runs that didn't come last night come tonight at Fenway. Okay, Let's keep it going. Let's get another one. We've already got the parlay locked in, but we still have 15 minutes left. So let's get to a couple guys asked about this game. I'll go here. Brian Leonard, the other day you were talking about maybe wanting spots to fade the Angels. Turnbuckle Tommy loves the Angels today. He says, I love the Angels first 5 plus a half, may even sprinkle the first 5 money line. Now, I feel like the Brewers are a team that we haven't necessarily been dying to back because, of course, they've kind of had things wrapped up. But they're a pretty big favorite against this Angels team today. So out in Milwaukee tonight, Brewers, Angels. Do you want to comment on Tommy's first 5? And do you have anything for this game?
Well, let's take a look at what the line is on the first 5 for him. We're looking at the first 5. We've got Woodruff about a 160 favorite, come back about 140 on Soriano. Total is 4, slightly to the under. That's probably not enough to get me involved. I would need a little bit more if I wanted the Angels here. The Angels are a team, as you had mentioned, I'm looking to fade. If you follow the Angels, they did get that nice run early on, and they have done nothing since. They have been especially a team I'm looking to fade. Problem is the lines are usually too high to do so, and they find ways to lose. And who finds ways to win? The Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers, I don't care who you're a fan of in Major League Baseball, you have to enjoy watching the Milwaukee Brewers. They're the most fun team. You could tell the love and the camaraderie in the dugout. They love the coach. They love playing for Milwaukee, and it's a smaller town area, similar to the Clevelands and the Pittsburghs and and the Baltimores, where you get that love affair with the fans. And obviously the Bob Uecker stuff is really risen this team to new levels. So if a game is in balance, who do you want? If the Angels have a 1-run lead going into the 8th inning, the Angels have a 1-run lead. You've got to think the Brewers are still favored in the game. So I can't get behind the Angels here. I know Soriano is a guy I like. His ground ball percentage, 100 percentile. He doesn't give a lot of home runs, but this is somewhat of a middling home run park, maybe slightly better than normal. But Soriano, 4.13 ERA, 4.10 expected, 1.38 WHIP. It does have that problem with the getting too many players on base. Average exit velocity, 6th percentile, hard hit rate 5th, walk rate 16th. There's parts of Soriano I like, but it's been a long season. Let me check his innings here before I leave his place. He's at 167 innings. That's more than he's had the last 2 years combined. They may be starting to add up to him. So I'm not standing in line to bet on him in this game. Woodruff, a guy who comes in with a 3.32 ERA, 2.26 expected. He's expected the last year he pitched was 2023. His expected that year was 2.792, and it was 2.28 on his actual ERA. This is a guy, he's got a great whip. In 8 seasons, 1.04 whip, and he's got a 52-28 record, 3.11 ERA. He's an elite pitcher, and he's because of not pitching last year and only throwing 67 innings in 2023. He's at 59.2, and as you talked about, he's a guy that is starting to reach mid-season form for himself because they waited so long to bring him up. They wanted to be sure. And he's got a lot of red on his StatCast page, throws 6 different pitches. And he doesn't throw the four-seamer that much, only 32% of the time, which is basically with his sinker are the 2 that he throws the most. I like Milwaukee. Now, I'm not going to lay this 2-1 line here, but maybe I could play the Angels team total under. Let me take a quick look at that. Angels team total under 3.5 to the under 150. Quick look at the Milwaukee bullpen. Let me do that real quick here. Brewers, okay. From a bullpen standpoint, they are in really good shape. Uribe hasn't pitched in 3 days. Koenig the last 2. Ashby last 2. Myers the last 3. Yeah, they're really set up on bullpen. So I think the under 3.5 team total here for the Angels is probably the way I would go, and that's basically a -145. I like that better than having to lay the full number on laying $2 or whatever here on that team.
So I see you, Tommy. First five money line. I wasn't talking about full game. Yeah, I don't think I'd want any part of the Angels full game. So like, here's the thing. I get where Tommy's coming from when you look at Soriano, because this dude will get crushed for a couple games, and then he comes out and it's like 7 scoreless, 8 strikeouts, just total wipeout effort. I would be terrified to back Soriano against the Brewers. And the reason why is because he is bottom 5% in the league in hard hit and exit velo. And we know when Soriano is on, he's getting ground balls. He has one of the highest ground ball rates in the league. But he still gets up a lot of hard hit. That's not what you want against the Brewers, because they are fast as hell. They have great team speed. I don't know how to quantify this, but they're so blessed this year. Every ball they hit has eyes. It finds a hole. I've never, they're just like that's not really like a great handicap, but like I have a one of my best friends is like a diehard Cubs fan. So, but I end up in a lot of NL Central conversation, just because I talk to a Cubs fan that follows the team diehard every day. And I just hear him complain about how the horseshoe up the butt for this Brewers team essentially this year, where it's like every hit is timely. Oh, 2 outs, guy in second, that ball's getting through. Grounders, infield singles, they're fast, they steal bases. That concerns me against a guy that gives up a lot of hard hit on the ground, because that's kind of what the Brewers are going to do to you. They want to get a guy on, they want to put him in motion, hit through the hole, steal a base. So that to me is not the best matchup for Soriano. That's being said, I see where he's coming from. Like Soriano, a couple of bad outings. This is kind of where he comes out and throws 6 scoreless, because that's what he does. So if you're looking at the first 5, this is a tough game. I will say this. I want no part of fading the Brewers in the full game right now. I think they can get to 100 wins. Like when I watch this team play, I watched a little of that game last night. They blew the Angels out. I think that they might have 100 wins in their sights as like maybe a goal. Now, if they lose the next couple, that's done. But if they were to finish off this sweep against the Angels and need 6 wins in the final, 9 games to get to 100, that could be something that motivates them a little bit. It's kind of a milestone. Again, I just think that they're still playing for something, even though they have nothing to play for, and kind of goes back to what Bryan said. So yeah, that's an interesting game. Tommy says he's not taking Angels full game. Listen, I think you're going to know very quickly whether you're on the right side with Soriano first 5 or not, because he's either going to come out and throw 5 scoreless, or he's going to get nickel and dime to death and be down 4-0 in the first inning. Be interesting to watch. That's for sure. Okay. Have Cash says Reds today. Well, I was on the Cardinals yesterday. I was right about that. But this has been a very competitive series so far. And Mike McGreevy, he came out and threw a great game last night. I'm not winning that game on the Cardinals without Mike McGreevy going something like 7 innings, totally shut them down, made so many good pitches, and Cardinals got it done 3-0. That being said, you got Brady Singer Palente today. I don't know, Javi. I think this one might set up a little bit better for the Reds too, but I think I'm out right now because this has been a really good series, and the Cardinals, I like the way they're playing. Bryan Leonard, anything for you, Reds, Cardinals for Javi?
Yeah, the Reds only a 3% chance to make the playoffs now. They have a losing record, 3 games behind, and they're falling behind the Diamondbacks, and they're tied with the Giants right now. We're looking at basically 10 games left in the regular season. It's going to be very tough for the Reds to get there. And I will say they dropped the shortstop down in the order the other day, and I like it because he's been horrendous in the second half of the season. He's your team leader. He's your future, and he has not lived up to it. I don't want any part of the Reds here. From the standpoint of the line, we are looking at Singer against Palante here. Singer's about a 115 favorite. He's pitched very well. He's been a nice signing for them. in the offseason. Palante is normally not a guy I'm looking to back. Total is 8.5 here. And when you're taking a look at Cincinnati for Singer, I prefer him in this game. I think he is the better starter in this game. Comes in with a 3.94 ERA, 4.16 expected. But yet his extension is in the 91st percentile, and everything else is blah, good, slightly good. I mean, he's not great. And so we may get some runs here. Palante, 5.23 ERA, 4.33 expected. It's got a terrible whip. He's pitched 4 seasons. His whip is 1.41 in his career. He's a big ground ball pitcher, and keeps him off balance with his barrel rate a little bit. But 5th percentile strikeout rate, chase rate 18th, whiff 24. So we've got 2 pitchers I would prefer to go against in this game. We're getting a total of 8.5 in St. Louis, which is a pretty decent hitter's park. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. Slight lean to the over. Probably won't get there. I hate to put my money on Cincinnati right now. They look like they may have basically gotten to the point now where it's time. They've been in such a battle to try to get in this playoff position, and they're not somebody that I want to trust right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got watching them yesterday. Now, obviously, I had my reasons for being on the Cardinals. One of the things on that I like about the Cardinals is they really have felt like one of these teams that, for the most part, over the last few weeks, they've really brought a very solid effort on a daily basis. Where it's like, and that'll go to last night, like McGreevy taking the ball there. Season's probably over as it is, but definitely over if they lose. Goes out, throws a great game, makes many good pitches. And that's like, Nolan Arenado, big spot where he, gets a third to first double play. Like, they're just making plays and they're playing good ball. Much more so than the Reds, who I really feel like find ways to beat themselves. This has happened all year. Like, with the talent that the Reds have on this roster, that 75-76 record is for one reason and one reason only. And that is because they beat themselves. They do not, this Reds team just doesn't play like winning baseball. They do, sometimes they do, and when they do, it's fun to watch because you're like, man, there's a lot of talent on this team. You just look at the run differentials. Reds plus 22, Cardinals minus 54. Like, the Reds are probably the better of these two teams, but you just don't always get that like big time effort from the Reds. If anything, they beat themselves, and it's not exactly what I want to bet on, especially now after they lose yesterday. Now they're 3 back. I'm kind of with you there, Brian. Like, do that. How do they get off the mat here? They're on the road. It's a day game. But if we're just talking about matchup and we're just talking about like this team versus this team, this team versus this pitcher, I'd much rather have Singer. Palente's a guy that I think is one of these guys that the organizations love to have a guy like this because, like, they've talked about this on Memphis Redbirds broadcast before. He will do anything that's asked of him. He does it with a smile on his face. He prepares. He's a professional, and like you'll see, like, if you can find guys like this, like, they probably don't have to pay him much. They can, if they need him to go out of the bullpen, he'll do it. They need him to start a game, he'll do it. They need him to go back to Memphis and be a starter and just chill. He's going to do it. He's not going to complain. Organizations love having a guy like this that they can just rely on. I think that's what Palente has become for the Cardinals. Does it mean he's very good? No. Like, he's probably what he is, 5 ERA, ERA mid-5, 1.43 whip. The guy's got 14 losses on the year. I don't think he's at this point in his career. I don't think you're going to like kill his confidence. I think he just understands what his job is and his role is in the organization. And the Cardinals know that right now they don't have a better option. I'm surprised that they didn't call Quinn Matthews up for this spot, but he kind of had injuries. And I feel like the Cardinals, that might be another thing that's telling you the Cardinals kind of know it's not their year this year, because I feel like they would have made that move. Another one of their young pitchers is hurt. So that's why Palente is pitching a game of this quote unquote magnitude right now. And that's not someone I want to back either. So reluctantly, I'll say the Reds here, but they don't really give me the warm, fuzzy feeling, Brian Leonard. I don't know. It's tough to get behind them, but the Cardinals did use a couple of key bullpen arms in big spots last night. Jojo Romero was in for the 8th. And then I think it's O'Brien that continues to sort of go out and close games for them.
He's looked good.
Yeah, I guess Have Reds if I absolutely had to, but I don't feel great about it. What I do feel great about is the 4% play that I gave on the show for free. I'm probably going to have another one, so I don't think that'll be the one up for sale. If it is, though, I mean, you'll know by 3 o'clock because it'll fall off. It's a day game. But yeah, I'm in a good mood today. 2-0 sweep for me yesterday, Bryan Leonard. So I gave it to the people for free. And that's our first parlay leg. So we're at the end of the show. Let's recap the parlay. Tokyo Brandon is en route to Las Vegas right now. He's on the road, so he's not with us today. He'll be back tomorrow, live from the Westgate, I think. That's pretty cool. John Murray should put him in the clubhouse and have just really broadcast him live from the Westgate, 6 a.m. Probably no one up there except for him. But anyway, we have 2-teamer today. Diamondbacks money line, Marlins money line. Nice and easy. Very simple. 2 full game sides. 1 day game, 1 night game. D-backs money line, Marlins money line. And the Diamondbacks is also a 4%er for my clients that you got here for free just for tuning in. I won't be tweeting that out. I won't be putting it up for free on my page. So the only way you're getting that if you're not one of my clients is because you watched the show today, and we appreciate you tuning in on a daily basis. We'll be here. I think we've got the go-ahead to do this all playoffs for the most part, or most of the playoffs, at least the weekdays. So that's pretty cool. We'll be with you most of October. And keep an eye out for the show announcement. We're going to basically do this for college hoop as well. Very much looking forward to that. And I know, Bryan, you got a couple things going on, but maybe we can get you on a college basketball show at some point too.
Did you mention the price that we're getting on our parlay?
Nope, way too much caffeine for me this morning, Bryan. Hold on one second. Can you just what did we say? Minus 108 and
108 and 155.
Minus 108, minus 155. That is plus 216. So plus 216.
And with the win yesterday, we're now up plus 5.24
Yes,
on
sir.
the season.
Big
so
win
if we
yesterday.
grab this one and go on to the last week of the season, we're in pretty good shape to show a profit, which, to be totally honest with you, I never thought that would be something that we could do. When we started talking about it, I said, this could get ugly when you're playing 3-team parlays. But I've been pretty proud about the way it's gone. Now, once we get to the playoffs, when there's only 1 or 2 games, we're not going to give you our plays. So, but we will talk about the games, and hopefully you'll be able to make something. Hey, we got to make some money too, guys. So,
yeah. Yep. We'll, I mean, listen, if we can get to the end of the regular season, turning a profit on a daily 3-teamer, I will be thrilled about that. And like Bryan said, after yesterday's win, plus 5.24 units on the season, all that means is if you're for every dollar that you've risked on these, assuming that you've risked the same amount on all of them, $1 returning $5.24. Doesn't seem like a lot, but again, that's pretty good. We've been firing these out since April, and the fact that we're still up, I think, is pretty impressive. So yeah, we'll leave it on that note. D-backs, Marlins 2-teamer today. We'll have TV back in the morning, and we'll see you guys 9 a.m. tomorrow. Good luck today. Enjoy your day, and cash all your tickets. We'll see you tomorrow.